Hey guys, welcome back to another devlog for Yttrae, my upcoming racing game that I've been working on for the past month or so. And today we're talking about level design. So this week I needed to figure out how I'm going to be making tracks for the core gameplay loop of my game, which is racing, right? I mean, racing against yourself, at least. Like rally racing, which is what it's based off. Anyway, so my initial approach was to use Blender, and as you can see, that didn't go so well. It is just like so awful to look at and interact with and make changes. Um, and when I would import this into Godot, it would only show faces of a cube from certain angles, and if you look at it from a different angle, it like clip, and it's just so awful to work with. Um, and it took way too long just to make this shape. So I was kind of at a loss as to what to do, but then I found an asset or an add-on or a plugin or whatever you call it for Godot called Terrain3D, which, how do I best describe it? It's kind of like if you've ever played SimCity 4. Has anyone played that game? In SimCity 4 you can kind of alter the terrain in real time and set up cool landscapes. I can probably show you a better demonstration of its capabilities with this. Yeah, so this is, here's some screenshots of it. So yeah, you can make these nice mountains and you can set up dependent texturing of terrain. So maybe rock is textured onto the surface if it's above a certain threshold. Anyway, this is what it looks like in my game. Get rid of Redmond here. So this is is that coming up on OBS? Yes. So this is, the prototype for the first level of my game. And I can show you, let's make a save here. So let's say I wanted to, for whatever reason, make a mountain over here. Then I could just get this, set the size to something. You can see it raising the terrain, right? Super quick to make adjustments. And then you have like this. I can go ahead and paint whatever I want, wherever I want. And on top of that, we just have a simple animated shader, or a shader that animates the water surface. That took me like 10 minutes, so that is also a prototype. And we've got the checkpoint set up, and we've got some river zone set up. I don't know, well, I think about maybe 5 people have watched the video, but basically the river has its own strength and will push the boat if the user doesn't have any input. Let's go and check this out. Oh, it won't work actually. I have to launch it from the game. That's fine. Alright. Okay. Yeah, so the camera's a bit different. We'll talk about cameras in a bit. And this camera is probably not going to be the final camera because I don't really like how it moves up and down with the bobbing. But we'll talk about it in a bit. And you can see that the movement is kind of changed. Like you get a pulse of acceleration intermittently, um, when Redmond is able to push off the bottom of the riverbed. And I feel like I like it. Probably can make it less jolty. like it decelerates quite quickly. Um, Whereas like I feel like a nice follow through would be more satisfying. But yeah, this is basically what I want the levels to look like. At least for the first part of the game where, you're playing as Redmond rather than Luca. Um, the latter of which is actually who you'll be playing for most of the game. And like the fact that I'm running into stuff, I think that's a good sign. Meaning that like I kind of want the player to be a little bit frustrated with the movement of Redmond. Um, because once you start playing as Luca, um, you'll have a much higher degree of control of the boat. Okay, that's that. Yes, I'm quite happy with that. There might be some tweaks to be made to the movement, but all in all, I'm quite happy with the workflow I've decided with to make tracks. So I'll build the track in Godot, and this plugin it works quite quickly. I'm happy with it. The only thing is I don't know a nice way to make the river. Like I had to basically export this mesh that I made in Godot into Blender and then kind of embed a 2D plane for the river within Blender and then import that back into Godot. Um, it doesn't seem nice, but don't know what else to do. And like I have to fix parts of this, but that will be actually quite easy. Like this is kind of at a tilt. Maybe tilt. Oh yeah. No? Yeah, it's tilted that way. And we don't want that because the boat like collides if someone's trying to turn to the left at that section of the river. But all I need to do is change one thing, and that's the river surface, right? And the way that I stop the boat from colliding with the bottom of the river is with a river floor. That's just a duplicate of the river surface and then shifted down and set as a collision object. And the boat can detect what it's colliding with, and so you'll only get penalty if you collide with the actual banks of the river. Okay, so that's level design for the racing section. Then I have level design for the story sections, which is mostly the same. We're still using Terrain3D um, to make the terrain, and the terrain is going to be higher poly count than, say, like houses and stuff and trees, just because, like, I hate modeling terrain, to be honest. Um, and I feel like this is good enough. But you can see that, like, I don't know, let's bring in, like, say I wanted to build a house, then I can just chuck a few of these in and start building it right here. So it's quite nice. And I said in the last video we've got like a pathfinding system set up. Like when I press play, Luke will walk to this marker and then do some animations. So we'll just run that right now. Right, so got a camera set up and the camera will follow Luca, but if I think maybe he'll walk back. He doesn't. Okay, well let's just so notice how it followed him without changing the rotation. That was a problem I had in, initially. So if he were to walk this way, the camera would like flip around and stuff. It was quite awful. Um, because he's attached to Luca, and so the camera would have the same rotation matrices applied to it. We want to change that back. I don't want to walk over there. But um, that problem was solved with another plugin called Phantom Camera, and this has got to be one of the most popular Godot plugins, I think. It just really simplifies camera movement. So the mode that I'm using for it is simple follow mode. So it moves with the character, but it doesn't, it's rotation in 3D space, like it remains fixed. So that's nice for the kind of camera I want, which is an isometric camera that doesn't ever change its rotation. It just kind of pans around at the same height, looking in the same direction relative to its position. Um, so I'm going to use that phantom camera on the boat to stop that kind of bobbing up and down because that looks horrible and it's going to make people motion sick. Um, but yeah, that's what I've got done this week, and I'm really happy with the progress this week. It feels like I'm on my way to developing a playable prototype that I want to get in people's hands so they can play it and give feedback. So if you're watching this and you're not one of my friends that I've been pestering to playtest my games, um, look in the description. There's a Discord. Um, it's just me in the Discord right now. But if you join it, I'll give you an executable of the game and you can play it. You can tell me how it goes. And I'd be really looking forward to feedback. And um, yeah, I think that's key when you're playing a game. You need to know if it's fun or not. And with friends, you kind of wonder how sycophantic they're being. Um, and they're your friends. They want you to succeed. So I'm you got to be nice to your friends, but you also want them to be critical sometimes. And more feedback, the better. So I'm setting up Discord. Join the Discord, and you can help me make this game. Um, Next week I will be working on. Well, so for the with this week coming, I'll be working on the script. So I want animations for the opening cutscene. I want to get Marco and Redmond in there because right now they are just portraits without any dialogue. Sorry, without any like physical instance. So blah blah blah. Right. So I need to set up a scene and animate them. And I've been thinking about the script just in my head, so I'm going to make some revisions to what they're actually talking about to better communicate their character. And I've designed Esmeralda, the other NPC, and I've modeled her and done her portrait. So I just got to throw all that in there. Um, yeah. So onwards and upwards, I suppose. Um, like, subscribe, all that. Thanks so much. I'm hoping to get a playtestable model version done by the end of the year. So get around me, boys and girls. Thank you.